Hey guys, we are going to continue to talk about the ancient Maya today. I want to point out that when I say ancient Maya, that is talking about the Mayans of a very long time ago, whereas there are Mayans that are descendants of those people that are still alive and well today, but obviously have very different traditions and lifestyles. So we'll be identifying and depicting the written language of the ancient Maya. Because they are unique in that they are one of the few indigenous communities at the time to have a written language. So I want you to take a look at these, especially these symbols, and think about what you observe. If I hadn't just told you written language, what would you think they are? Do they look like pictures to you? Do they look like letters? Obviously, they're very different from our alphabet that we have today and our words that we have today. Well, I should say the way that words are written. Kind of bubbly from my observation. And here you see a couple places you might find those symbols. One is in their architecture, on stone carvings, which is why we actually do have a lot preserved because it has stood the test of time. We can see somewhat of the Mayan perspective through these primary sources. So this is a primary source, right? It was written at the time by someone who lived through it. And that's different from the Tainos, who didn't have a written language. And so when many of them were killed off, then we weren't able to really hear their story. Whereas with the Mayans, there's a little bit more that we can pull from. This is called a codex. It's sort of like the Mayan version of a book, but many of these, unfortunately, were destroyed when the Spanish came and conquered, sadly. So that kind of lost a lot of their history. We're going to take a little quiz. Don't worry, it's not a hard quiz. It's supposed to be a fun quiz. Spoiler, spoiler. Every time I click on it, it goes to that page. Okay, so it's called Guess the Glyph, or Adivina el Glífico. How do Spanish speakers? Guess the glyph. All right, so what would you guess that is? I feel like I'm on a kids' TV show waiting for you to answer. So it kind of looks like fire. It is fire when you look at it that way, or if you kind of tilted it, you can sort of see that it could be fire. This one's a little harder. It means person. So that surprised me a little bit. You see the pronunciations here. Any guesses on this one? It's kind of I guess unexpected. It does look like a person, but obviously it doesn't look like our stereotypical, on the entrance of a bathroom woman. And I just want you to keep in mind, like we always talk about, depending on the culture you're in, you're going to have a very different idea of what it means to be a woman or a man or whatever, because that's where you grew up. That is your perspective of the world. Just like in our perspective, a lot of people get tattoos or piercings, and that's to us normal, but might not be in another culture. So just keep that in mind. Any guesses? Cloud. Mountain. It's kind of interesting. Sideways mountain or diagonal mountain. I thought this looked kind of like a hamburger, but it is a book, which makes sense a little bit to me when you look at it. Okay, then here's some examples of other ones. Sky, I see person again, book again, spirit, to grab. So there's a verb here. Okay, so I'm going to show you, unfortunately, I didn't get to the school in time to grab my copy of this book, but I have a few copies if you ever want to come check once we're back at school. So this is actually a trilingual book. It's in Spanish, it's in English, and it's in Mayan glyphs, which is a really, really cool concept to me. And it's colored very pretty. So I want to read the first page, and I want you to notice how it's written. So it says, many, many years ago, there was a child. And it shows you this is the symbol for child, whom his friends called the green child. So I think that points back to this again. Or maybe it's supposed to be this. Because he loved helping his father sow maize. So that's like corn and that's sow. He lived with his family in a Mayan community. So it shows you lots of different Mayans. It's a Mayan community. Before going to sleep at night, right here, the green child would walk a sacred path to the royal temple called San Andres. And then you see the royal temple, or San Andres, to watch the fire, we learned that one, ceremony. He saw the shaman burn copal incense and send a message to heaven, to a dead grandfather. All right, so obviously we don't see every single word because the language is different. So it was written in more big ideas than small words. So that's actually what I'm going to have you do. So I'm going to attach, let's see, where is it? This picture to Google Classroom. And what I want you to do is I want you to use these symbols 3 to 5 only, but I want you to get off your iPad. So I want you to just find a piece of paper, whether it's the cardboard side of a cereal box, a loose leaf paper, computer paper, whatever. Whether it's big or small, I don't care. But I want you to write in both English, and if you want Spanish, that'd be awesome, and Mayan glyphs, some sort of story, whether it's 1 sentence, whether it's 5. It could be something as simple as the Quetzal grabbed the snake from the water, and you can add English words when they are not here. But I want you to try to use 3 to 5 of these. Great if you want to use more. I just really want you guys to get creative and get off your iPads. You don't have to color them, but you may color them, and just have fun with it. Let me know if you have any questions.